Coming up in the bulletin, political marketing strategist Professor Kobi Mensah says rally platform deprived NPP running mate Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh from laying out his message.
I think that for a first address, for a candidate who is just been selected, the platform was wrong.
In fact, you can't even sum up the key issues because most of the things that he mentioned were not of national relevance. They were very much appealing to the activists to turn up their numbers.
Also in the bulletin, minority in parliament kicks against restricted recruitment into the security services, describing it as illegal and deceptive as it demands a more open and transparent exercise.
It's illegal, it's unconstitutional, it is discriminatory and ought not to be pursued. And he has demonstrated why there is no such backlog.
Family of 24-year-old lady found dead in a hotel swimming pool in Takoradi suspects foul play as they accuse the police service of doing little to resolve the case.
I suspect there is a foul play because I don't really know if what the hotel is saying is true or not. Their CCTV is not working and that they can't get the footage to aid.
And later on, Deputy NPP Communications Director seeks reversal of curse after Galamsey confession. Details of these stories and many more coming up shortly. Stay tuned in. You're welcome once again to the Starr Midday News on Starr 103.5 FM, coming to you live from our studios here at the Platinum Place in Accra. We are also live on Empire FM in Takoradi, Ultimate FM in Kumasi, Zeps FM in Zebila, our other affiliates across the country. Around the world, we are on starfm.com.gh, and in the US, we are on My Star Radio. My name is Naa Dedei Tettey. To the details of our stories now, and we're still in election mood, especially after the unveiling of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh yesterday as the running mate of the governing NPP's flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. This is your election hub here on Starr 103.5 FM, and we are building off from yesterday after the unveiling of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as the running mate of the NPP's flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama. Well, there have been tons of reactions. Political marketing strategist Professor Kobi Mensah says that the rally platform deprived the NPP running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, from laying out his message. Dr. Opoku Prempeh, the newly unveiled running mate of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the flag bearer of the governing NPP, he has courted a barrage of criticism following his claim that the incumbent president, Nana Akufo-Addo, has outperformed all previous presidents, including Ghana's first president after independence, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Was speaking to me a while ago. Professor Kobi Mensah says the party got it wrong.
Well, firstly, I think that for a first address, for a candidate who is just been selected, the platform was wrong because he's been just selected as a running mate,
Someone who has never been on that level before. So you would expect that they will give it a platform that allows him to be able to display a philosophical and ideological stance on key issues, giving a certain themes to talk about. But this time they gave him a campaign rally platform. Campaign rally platform is not the kind of platform that allows for a very interrogative, kind of a speech. All right. Campaign rally platform is like a rabble rousing. People would only shout, they would scream on issues, but not be detailed about, key national issues. And so for me, I think that the first issue was the platform that they gave him. It doesn't allow for serious interrogation of issues. It doesn't allow for serious discussions of national issues. And that is what actually might have actually instigated the kind of delivery that he got. In fact, you can't even team up the key issues because most of the things that he mentioned were not of national relevance. They were very much appealing to the activists to turn up their numbers. How do you really get a sense of how the running mates would actually look at issues of national importance? How would you be able to judge his vision, his philosophical stance on key issues? You can't do that, with a kind of, platform that he.
So you said he cannot do that with the kind of platform he got. I mean, many have said that is because of what they are seeking to achieve with the region, and they have sensed that there's some level of apathy there, and they are trying to whip up their base. Reason they chose a particular platform.
But is this the final opportunity to do that? In earnest, the actual campaign hasn't even started. This is the outdooring of your running mate. It is not even the actual campaign. You have so many opportunities to actually do the kind of thing that you're talking about. Even by campaign measure, we can say that even what he's done will win. It will win eventually because we haven't even started a campaign. So if that is what we want to achieve, to rally the base, to whip up the base, you do that when the campaign time starts. I mean, you will get so many opportunities to be able to do that. I am sure that by outdooring your running mate, there will be quite a lot of stakeholders, international community, the diplomatic corps. You have, the voters themselves, not only in Kumasi, but across the country, who want to listen to you. And all that you can do is to have a very Ashanti-centric rhetoric in that sense. I think that it was a wrong, strategy to do. You don't whip up your base by dividing the country. Same things that could sharply, create a division or create a wedge between you or your base and the rest of the country. I don't think that is the right strategy.
Do you think that the party and he, Napo himself, missed a good opportunity to put himself out there as...
Of course. It was a missed opportunity for you to put yourself to appear presidential, to dismiss the public perception or, the tagging that have actually been laid on you, to actually show that indeed you have matured in your politics. But he missed those opportunities to do that.
And then the comparison of President Akufo-Addo to the country's very first president, the Osagifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Some have said that this was unnecessary because, the platform did not even call for such a comparison.
That was a law in any political. To call, an iconic global leader as Kwame Nkrumah, that is extremely low.
I didn't think that any politician will go down that tangent as low as that. To use a very dismissive phrase, for a former leader that is celebrated globally. This is a president who had actually been celebrated as a personality of a century. And for you to use that word to do that, in diplomatic terms, it is not acceptable. If you have to go to Addis Ababa, for example, assuming you ascend to the throne and you have been asked to speak about Nkrumah, how are you going to approach it when you have had such a dismissive attitude towards a globally iconic character like that? It will be difficult for you to do so.
Do you think that he underestimated the magnitude of the opportunity he had to sell himself to Ghanaians?
It hadn't dawned on him the role that he's playing. I don't think so. Because he is actually, kind of carrying himself as if he's a hype man. You're not a hype man. The vice presidential position is a very, dignified one. So there is a certain ambience that you're supposed to bring to that particular level. There's a certain way that you have to carry yourself. All right. That rabble rousing does not actually augur well for such a status.
You had the political marketing strategist, Professor Kobi Mensah. Well, after the unveiling yesterday, one of the most topical points have been the NPP running mates comparison of President Akufo-Addo to the country's foremost president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. In terms of achievements, he says that nobody has been able to do what the current president has been able to do. Well, there have been tons of reactions. We've heard from Professor Kobi Mensah. We've also heard from Professor Edu Jimfi of the KNUST, who says that this comparison is nauseating. Social media has gone agog as well. I've been joined in the studio by Nanama and not Bimpong Aqua with details with regard to what people have been saying on social media. And Anama, welcome to the Midday News. I haven't had you here like this before. But what have people been saying?
Thank you so much, Naa. Well, we put out a poll on X, formerly Twitter, and 88% said that they would choose Kwame Nkrumah between the two, and 12% said they would choose Akufo-Addo. Now, when we go through some of the comments, we have Kia. Some of them I can't read because they are quite, yes. Okay, so we have Nana Say, who says Kwame Nkrumah is not, or was not only helpful, but sensible too. Then when we scroll on further down, Senna says there is no need to vote. We already know. How can you compare a failed 7 to 8 years government to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah? It is never possible. Then he said, you must stop this crass disrespect to Nkrumah. That was Innocent typing there. When we scroll on further down, we have here Obin Kofi, who says, if for nothing at all, we have the statues of Kwame Nkrumah all over the country. Where is Nana Addo statue? Even in Chebi. Then Kwame adds, it's even an insult to Ghanaians to try and compare any Ghanaian president in history to Kwame Nkrumah. A lot of people are saying it's not a debate. They're also saying that it's a huge mistake for there to be any form of comparison between the two. So this is what we have for social media this afternoon. Now, thank you.
Thank you very much, Nanama Anobimpong Aqua, with those details there in terms of your reactions to the comparison made by the NPP running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. Now we'll switch our attention from election-related issues to education. Some worrying development with regard to the ongoing basic education certificate examination. And Star News can confirm that this morning's BECE social studies paper leaked minutes before the exam. My colleague Ibrahim Alassan, who has been following this development, has joined me in the studio with details. Now, Ibrahim, what do we know so far?
Well, so this morning, one of the papers to be written was the social studies. And as you know, there's Part A and Part B, what we call Section A and Section B, or objectives or objes. So this one is the written section. And so about 9:16, the paper actually starts at 9, but this paper we had started circulating before 9 a.m. But I got hold of this around 9:16. By which time the examination was ongoing. Okay. Now, like I mentioned, it's social studies, and the first question was, 1A, how will you explain the term environment to your study group? B, in what 4 ways are water bodies in your community polluted? C, suggest 4 workable ways by which water bodies in your community can be made safe for use. And it's from Question 1, Question 2, Question 3, Question 4, Question 5. Now, let me give you the paper as was written by the BEC candidate. First question, 1A, how will you explain the term environment to your study group? Same, no difference. Now, the very final one is question 4B. List 2 challenges that you may consider when using technology. And that's the real paper that was written.
Okay.
The one that got leaked, I'm going back to it, says list 2 challenges that you may encounter when using technology.
So
word for word.
Word for word.
Yes. So that's the sad development. And we told this has been widespread.
Okay. And this definitely must be troubling in relation to but just for emphasis, at what point did we receive this paper?
Okay, so per my sources, this paper started circulating before the exam started at 9 a.m. I got this copy because I demanded that it be sent to me for verification.
Okay.
9:16, that's 16 minutes into the examination. And we've all written such exams, papers. And then if this paper is leaked, chances are somebody might be able to solve it. If the person is able to get the answers to the examination center, that is it.
That's it.
That's it.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Alassan, with those details there. Meanwhile, the West African Examination Council has vowed to ensure the prosecution of teachers and invigilators arrested for engaging in examination malpractices. John Kapi is the head of corporate affairs at WIAC, and he spoke to Star News.
Certainly, yes, they are going to face prosecution because the WIAC law states that anybody who has in their possession a question in any form, be it electronic form or hard copy or whatever, has flouted the rule and it is punishable by law. So they are going to be charged with law courts and then they will be prosecuted. Yeah. We are also going to submit the list of these invigilators because they are teachers. We, as I said earlier, we are not the employing agency. It's the GES that employs them. So we send their names to their employers and we expect that at least some punishments will be meted out to them to prevent them from repeating or even having others, do what these ones have done.
You heard there the head of corporate affairs at WIAC, John Kapi, speaking to Star News. You're still listening to the Starr Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. Let's turn our attention to Parliament now, where the minority has kicked against the restricted recruitment into the security services by government. Interior Minister Henry Quartey has announced recruitment of about 11,000 people from a backlog of applicants. But addressing the media, a ranking member for the Committee on Mines and Energy and Interior as well, Mines and Energy, James Agalga, and Deputy Minority Leader Emmanuel Amakofi Boa refuted the claim of the existence of a backlog. Now, they demanded immediate halt of the exercise, describing it as illegal. The NDC MPs want government to open the exercise up to the general public.
It's illegal, it's unconstitutional, it is discriminatory, and ought not to be pursued. And he has demonstrated why there is no such backlog from a press release issued by the police service at the end of the 2021-2022 recruitment exercise. So, backlog is nothing but a creation of this government, the MPP government, in order to allow for unequal access in terms of recruitment into our security agencies. And he has demonstrated once again how dangerous that move is. It portends grave danger for our national security.
Security services. The Minority Caucus in Parliament, as noted, will concern a banner headline news report in the Chronicle newspaper on Monday, 8th of July. The government is about to commence recruitment of some 11,000 personnel into the security services. The report said 3,000 personnel will be recruited into the Ghana Immigration Service, 4,000 into the Ghana Police Service, 2,000 into the Ghana National Fire Service, 1,500 into the Ghana Prison Service, and 500 into the Narcotics Control Commission.
You heard there the Deputy Minority Leader, Emmanuel Amakofi Boa, and earlier you heard the ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee, James Agalga. Still in relation to issues coming from Parliament, this time around on the energy front, ranking member on the Committee on Mines and Energy, John Jinapor, he has urged government to immediately engage parties in the ENI Vitol versus Ghana case after the country lost its case at the International Court of Arbitration. He addressed the media a while ago.
He further said, since, and I am quoting it, since this is a backlog, the Ministry of Interior is going to work with, there will be no advertisement.
It was avoidable. We cautioned them. Civil society cautioned them. President Mahama cautioned them. We knew we were heading for defeat because that decision lacked basis. It wasn't backed by any law and it wasn't backed by common sense. But government refused, and today we are witnessing this embarrassing spectacle. What it does is that it sends a wrong signaling effect. Because nobody would want to do business with Ghana if you are seen as a hostile investment destination. But more importantly, we've lost so much revenue. If we had resolved this matter in 2020, we would have been producing more oil. Look at the revenue lost from 2020 to date. But we believe that it's not too late. We call on government to swallow its pride. First of all, to stop the misinformation. You have not won this case.
You heard there, ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee, John Abdullahi Jinapor. Away from energy and Parliament, the family of Lois Abena Kranting, a 24-year-old business support officer from Icon Energy, is alleging foul play in her death after she was found in a hotel pool in Takrady. They believe she was murdered and dumped in the pool. The grieving family has expressed frustration with the police for not communicating the autopsy results conducted the same week Lois was found dead. Now, they are also unhappy with the failure by the police to make any arrests after a month, following a month after the incident. The incident occurred at the Chris Lord Palace Hotel in Anaji, a suburb of Takrady. The hotel claims its CCTVs were not functioning at the time. Lois, an engineer from KNUST, was on a business trip with her boss and a driver when she was found dead on June 8, 2024, shortly after they checked in. Her brother George Ejenim Boateng has been speaking to GH1 and Starr News' Evelyn Araba Edu.
She went on official duty with her company driver and one of the supervisors on 7th June 2024. She actually informed us that she was going for that trip. And it's not the first of its kind. I've been working with them from last year.
2023?
Yes.
Okay. What's the name of the company and the supervisor?
Icon Energy. I don't have the name of the supervisor.
Okay.
You know, some names should be held now because of the investigation going on.
Yeah.
She was in company of the company driver and the supervisor.
And they traveled on the Sunday, and then on the Monday they found her dead in the pool, right?
No, I think the 7th was Friday, if you check the calendar.
Okay.
It's Friday. The hotel on 7th of June 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And at dawn of 8th June 2024, that's the next day,
Yeah.
she was found dead in the swimming pool of the hotel.
When they found her, was there any suspicion, any bruises, any blood oozing from any part of her body?
No, there was nothing like that.
You had the brother of the deceased 24-year-old Lois Abena Kranting. The brother's name is George Ejenim. He spoke to GH1 and Starr News' Evelyn Araba Edu. You're still listening to the Starr Midday News on Starr 103.5 FM. Let's make a quick check on the industrial action by the Civil and Local Staff Association of Ghana, CLOCSAG. They've been on strike for over 5 days. I think they're about in their 8th day. Let's go over the telephone line and speak to Calvin Powell. He's been going around doing some checks. Calvin, where have you been and what did you observe?
All right. I've been to the ministries and specifically Ministry of Employment and Labor, Ministry of Agriculture, and Accountants General Department. But currently, I'm at the Registrar General Department, which also hosts the Office of the Registrar of Companies. And the story is the same. Every office that I entered and visited has been totally deserted by the officials, except the security personnel who are inside to keep the place under safety. And I met a couple of people at the front edge of the Registrar General Department who were here tentatively to have some businesses transacted with them, but they were met with empty offices and chairs, so they returned. And they were so frustrated that they never wanted to even speak to me, even on phone or even on video. So that has been the situation here. The place is more or less a ghost town, if you ask me. Mind you, on the 3rd of this month, government called a meeting between itself and CrossAg, and CrossAg boycotted the meeting, and that meeting has been rescheduled today. So I went to the CrossAg head office to find out if today they will be willing to attend the meeting, and none of them was ready to speak with me. Their offices were locked, and that has been the situation around here. Government business is actually suffering, if you ask me.
Thank you very much, Calvin Powell, monitoring the effects of that strike by Clock SAG. You're still listening to the Starr Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. In a bit, we'll bring you the very latest in the world of sports. Before we do that, should Ghanaians seek indigenous means of fighting galamsey with the country facing deforestation? We ask because results are scarcely seen despite the numerous government initiatives implemented to combat this illegality. However, the fear of curses may seem like an avenue to explore, all because of what transpired at Achim Akwase area in the Brim North District in the Eastern Region when a chief invoked curses on the NPP's Eastern Regional Deputy Communications Director, George Krobi Asante, for his engagement in illegal mining. GH1 and Star News' Elik Mawuku has more in this report.
1950, about 60% of Ghana's forest cover, which is roughly 2.7 million hectares, has been depleted. Experts warn if current trend continues, Ghana's forest could be entirely wiped out within the next 20 years. But while the Forestry Commission is ramping up its efforts against increasing illegal mining activities, some government-affiliated individuals could be seen as key obstacles to these efforts. One of such is the NPP's Eastern Regional Deputy Communications Director, George Krobi Asante, also known as Gambo, who is currently begging the Ankobia Hene of Noyem Ajinyame, Kofi Kingsley, to reverse a torrent of cases rained down on him for lying about his involvement in galamsey.
Madaruma, Yasamu to me, the Ania Sanya Roba for no Reda, and no Chame Yago, Madaruma, Mufam to imagine so. Na Yasra, I Cofitano, Madaruma, Yasra, Nana, after I possible in a
The incident occurred after Gambo claimed he had never engaged in illegal mining activities, angering some community members equally involved in galamsey. The Ankobia Hene called upon the river deity to curse Krobi Asante, invoking death if he had ever been involved in or benefited from galamsey. Fearing for his life, Krobi Asante reportedly confessed his involvement to local chiefs and requested clemency as well as the reversal of cases.
We'll bring you the full report later on Star today. I'm sure you're as curious as I am how this will end. Let's bring you the very latest in the world of sports, and Benjamin Yamwa is here. Good afternoon to you, Benjamin. What's in sports?
Good afternoon to you. Yeah, I mean, effective, perhaps the effective way of getting justice.
Well,
a traditional way.
I've been advocating for it, but my colleagues say that I
maybe how things have been going on in this country, we should be exploring that option as well.
Maybe.
I think it will work for Ghana, actually, with our politicians and our people. Anyway, now newly signed Kotoko midfielder Emmanuel Entry has stated that the club made contact with him towards the end of last season's Ghana Premier League. 24-year-old Entry joined Kotoko after a 2-year stint with Olympics here in Accra. Entry reviewed Kotoko through head coach Personate Ogum showed interest in him toward the end of the last season, and hence his decision to join the Warriors for the upcoming season.
We've been talking for a while now. He called me at the end of the season, when the season was about to end. Yeah, that's when he started calling me phone. And he told me he wanted me to join the club as soon as possible, and he asked me if I'm interested. I was like, yeah, I'm interested to do so. If the chance is there, why not? I'll just come in, do what I do best.
So what convinced you the most? Is it?
I just wanted to play for Asante Kotoko. It's the team I love in Ghana, so basically, if they show interest in me, why not? I'll just come. I'll just come and do me, and that's all.
Emmanuel Entry is a midfielder signed on by the Porcupine Warriors. And to last night's game in the European League, and of course, Kylian Mbappe concedes his Euro tournament has been a failure after France were pushed out of the tournament last night by Spain after they lost by 2-1 at the Allianz Arena. Mbappe believes the championship in non-total for the French team has been a failure.
Of course, you're always disappointed when you don't win. I think it's normal, it's human. Like I said in French before, we wanted to win. And now we go home after the semi-final, so it's a disappointment. I don't know if the confirmation, but the truth is like today we go home, and it's hard to go home when you don't win.
Kylian Mbappe is a striker for the French team, and that's it for sports.
Thank you very much, Benjamin Yamwa, with the very latest in the world of sports. And that'll be it for today's edition of the Starr Midday News on Star 103.5 FM here in Accra. For more news, do log on to starfm.com.gh. My name is Naa Dedei Tettey. Thank you so much for your company. Have a good afternoon.